Hello and welcome to the halfway mark of Veal Bakes 2020. It's week 5. It's pastry week. Yes. This week we're doing the technical challenge again, and we are going to be making raspberry and salted caramel eclairs. So normally I get the technical recipes from the website, but for the last couple of weeks they haven't put them on. I don't know why. Fortunately, recipes are in this new book for the series. Hashtag not sponsored. They have quite a lot of good recipes to choose from. Let's find the recipe. So we're supposed to be making these. Long list of ingredients, which is what we've got here. We will go through all of these ingredients now. Bread flour, plain flour, milk, caster sugar, double cream, unsalted butter, corn flour, some fine salt, a bowl of eggs, vanilla extract, blanched hazelnuts, sea salt flakes, raspberries, fondant icing sugar, ready to roll red icing, freeze-dried raspberry pieces, edible gold glitter, some white sprinkles from hundreds of thousands, powdered gelatin, and edible gold leaf. And breathe. That's a lot. Hopefully I remember them all. Ingredients here, recipes in here. On your marks, get set, bake. Make the choux pastry. Sift both types of flour and sugar onto a baking sheet. So I've got 45 grams of bread flour, 45 grams of plain flour, 5 grams of sugar. I'm gonna just sift this onto here. Put the milk, butter and salt into a saucepan with 65 ml of water and gently heat until the butter melts. Then bring it to the boil, tip the flour in and mix it with a wooden spoon furiously. 65 ml of milk, 65 ml of water, 55 grams of butter. That was a bad idea. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So the butter's melted, needs to go onto the boil, and we're going to shoot the flour in and then quickly mix it up. Okay, that's boiled. This needs to go in quickly. Okay, so put it on a low heat. You say low heat? Yep. And we'll continue to boil it. So it's basically just like a ball of dough. And to cook the flour out. That'll do. Right. Tip the dough into a bowl with stand mix and leave it to cool until just warm. We'll stick it in here. And we'll just leave it to cool. Okay, so this has been cooling for about, I'd say 5-ish, 6 minutes. Put it in here. I've beat up my 2 eggs in a bowl. And we're gonna add it. I'll add half of it at a time and mix it up. Because I'm probably not, it depends, you might not need all of the mixture to make the choux pastry. Because we want it to be a dropping consistency and you want a V shape to form when it comes off the spoon. We're going to add half of this and then we'll mix it up and see how it goes. It's going to be very sloppy to start with. This is my workout for the day. And look, it's nowhere dropping at all. Oh. Okay, maybe I should have done this in the mixer. Ow. So reluctant drop. Yeah, we'll go with this. We'll see how it goes. So it drops and then leaves a sort of a V shape. spoon into a piping bag with a closed style nozzle. I don't have that, I've just got a circle one. And pipe 10 lines using the lines that I've drawn before. Okay, so my oven's on at 170 fan. I'm going to pipe my eclairs. Obviously not very big. Oh. Okay, that's my 10 eclairs. Let's see how they do when they bake. Go again! Okay, so these go in for 25 to 30 minutes. So in the meantime, we'll make the creme patissiere. 150 ml of milk in a pan. Okay, 80 millilitres of cream going in. Oh, okay, we need to whisk up the egg yolks, sugar and corn flour first. Okay, so we've got 4 egg yolks going into here, 65 grams of caster sugar, 20 grams corn flour. This needs whisking up until it's lighter and fluffier. I don't know if it'll be fluffy, but it'll be lighter. And then we're going to add the milk and cream that I'm going to boil. That's going into here, mix it up together, and then it's going back on the heat, and the corn flour will make it thick. Definitely a workout today. Oh my god. Ow. Oh god. Oh my arm. Oh. Okay, that's boiled. I whisk in like a tablespoon whilst whisking it so that it doesn't curdle the eggs, doesn't cook the eggs. Let's see how my choux pastry is doing. I mean, they are golden brown, but they haven't really risen at all. Some have cracked. That looks alright, it's pretty small though. We'll see. Okay, so I pricked the bases of them with a cocktail stick so that they can air out a bit better and don't get any flatter. We'll carry on making it, and they should be alright once we shove everything in and decorate it nicely. But we're going to be carrying on with this. So I'm going to whisk the rest of the milk in with this and it's going back on the heat. Eventually. So I whisk this up, it's going to thicken up, and then we're going to sieve it into a bowl and then add the butter. So it took about a minute and then it changed straight away like that, and now it's nice and thick. Nice and thick. 40 grams of butter going in. My creme patissiere is just chilling over there while we make the 2 flavours for it. Okay, we're not even halfway through this, it's ridiculous. Start to make the salted caramel. Heat the sugar in a heavy based pan over medium heat, shaking the pan from time to time without stirring until the sugar dissolves and turns a dark amber colour. Remove from the heat and leave to cool. So 100 grams. Just going to leave the sugar to melt. We need 3 hazelnuts. Dip the hazelnuts in a caramel and then place it under this so that it drips down and forms a little spike. There.
leave them to cool. This is actually pretty good.
Okay, so on a low heat, we're going to add in 50 grams of butter, melt that in, then add in the cream, mix that in, then add in the salt, and then we're going to leave it to cool. So, I've managed to melt the caramel in with the butter now, and we're going to add in the cream and mix it up until it's nice and smooth. Adding in the cream. Okay, I think that'll do. Got kind of a caramelly sauce. Again, so a teaspoon of flakes going in. And there we go, mixed. Right, we'll leave that to cool. I'll do the next step. I make a raspberry puree. Need another pan. Ugh, 12 steps to go. So we're halfway there. Ridiculous. We'll have to do some washing up as well because I've got no more pans left. Make the raspberry puree. Tip the raspberries and sugar into a small pan and crush with a potato masher. Cook on a medium heat for 3 to 5 minutes until the raspberries release the juices and the liquid thickens. Remove from the heat and pass through a sieve. I'll use a teaspoon of sugar. Apparently. That's done. I'm going to just sieve this out now. Just leave that to cool. Okay, the next step is to fold the Creme Patissiere in with the salty caramel, which I have here. Oh, look at this, this looks good. And my raspberry puree. Okay, we'll cover this over with cling film so it doesn't form a skin. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to make some caramel icing. And put 50 to 70 grams of fondant icing sugar in the remaining caramel, mix it up to a nice paste, and stick it in a piping bag. This is looking really nice. I'm not going to eat all of that, am I? Leftovers. Okay, so I've done a bit of cleaning because I have no equipment left because there's so much stuff involved in this. Right, the next step is to make a sugar glaze. I've got 100 grams of sugar in a pan, 150 milliliters of water in there. Bring to the boil, then reduce the heat and simmer without stirring for 5 minutes until the syrup heat. Okay, remove from the heat, set aside. Pour 2 tablespoons of syrup into a small bowl. Okay, this has been on for 5 minutes. I'm just going to take, it says to take 2 tablespoons and put it in another bowl for later apparently. Next step, sprinkle the gelatin, so 2 teaspoons of gelatin over 100 milliliters of water in a small heat-proof bowl. Leave it for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, 2 teaspoons of gelatin in as well. I don't know what this is for. Right, okay, this is for the, a golden glaze on top of the salty caramel thing here. So this gets piped on, then it gets dunked in this apparently when it's cool, and then we have the raspberry one with the fondant and powder, and inside each one of them has got the salted caramel creme pat and the raspberry creme pat. So many elements to this, ridiculous. How they do this in 2 and a bit hours, I have no idea. It's taken me like 5 hours. Stir this to dissolve the gelatin. That's hot. Ow. Move from the heat, stir in the sugar syrup in the pan, pour the mixture into a bowl, release the length of an eclair, and then stir in the edible gold powder. Oh, that's nice. Here's the gold powder and the raspberry powder. Time to pipe the eclairs. They're not as plumped up as what I wanted them to be, but that's what we're going to go with. Okay, so next up is to pipe on this salted caramel like fondant on top of these three. It says to dunk it in this, but I don't know if this is going to help, to be honest. It's very watery. I'm going to get some sort of pattern on it, maybe. Nope. That's not going to help. Okay. Well, we're just going to spray this then with the gold spray. That actually looks alright. Okay, so we've got 3 hazelnuts. Okay, we're nearly there. Right. Just need to get some of this. I'm going to brush a bit of this syrup on top of here so we can stick the fondant to it. There we go. And now we need to tip it into this raspberry powder that I've got. Okay, the final bit. So I've got 50 grams of fondant icing, 4 lines across each of the raspberry eclairs. Put some white balls on, which I've taken out. Managed to extract from the top of hundreds and thousands. Things I do for bake off. And then we're going to put half raspberry on it, each of them, and some gold leaf, and then we're done. We are finished, finally. Oh. Okay, here's the 6 eclairs. 3 salted caramel and 3 raspberry. Let's have a taste. Okay, so we're just going to take one of each. It's nice. The raspberry is quite sharp. It's nice and it's very sweet and sharp. Oh my god, that flavour is really nice. The salted caramel, that is a really nice flavour. Flavour wise, I think the salted caramel one is definitely nicer. And so presentation wise, not too bad. The eclairs definitely could have been bigger. The gelatin glaze thing didn't work either, so we'll just spray it with the gold dust, which is fine. Presentation wise, could be better, but taste wise, nailed it. So, next week is a new week, Japanese week. Ooh. Quite into Japanese culture and things like that, so it should be quite good. Okay, I'm going to finish these off because they actually taste really nice. I'm going to clean up my kitchen because it's an absolute mess. Until next week, bye bye.